This is Jonathan Mickles with the Strategic Multifamily Investing Podcast. And today I have with me Miss Briana Maurice. Hello, Briana.
Hi, Jonathan.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, and we'll jump right into it because there's a lot of questions I have for you. This is going to be a good interview.
Okay. So my name is Briana Maurice. I am a licensed realtor in the state of California, and I am beginning my journey with syndication. That's what I'm doing currently.
Excellent. So we'll go back into what is syndication and stuff like that. But so the reason why I wanted to really interview you, you and I had at another party, we've developed a really good friendship over the last several months. Very candid, very humorous friendship, and it's been fun. And I really am interested in your journey a little bit. Well, one additional thing that you did as we had some interactions, around some group stuff. That really set you apart to me is you sent me a private message, a private DM that pretty much just, thanked me for the contribution that I had, provided to a particular situation or whatever. And I think that's very rare for people to do something like that. And for me, it made you stand out to me that I said, okay, I want to get to understand her a little bit more. I want to understand her journey a little bit more. And this interview is going to be a little bit different because, you're just starting. Most of the other people that I've talked to either have already done several deals already and, they're in the industry, they're vendors, et cetera. But, you're just starting, and that's okay. I think people who are possibly interested in getting into the space, right, and getting connected to people want to hear your story. But before we get there, I want to talk a little bit more about how you kind of, some of the challenges that you faced in even getting here. I was reading in your bio that, you had a challenge earlier with having your kids early. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So I had my first child at the age of 16, and then I had my second at 19. So within that, I mean, I was young. I didn't know about life. I didn't know about anything. So just not having set a foundation for myself,
Mhm.
and not having done that, and then I have kids, it kind of, I wouldn't say it set me back, but it made it a challenge, because here I have two lives that I have to care for, and I'm not even 20 years old. I didn't even have goals set. I always knew I wanted to be someone successful, but I didn't have a plan. I didn't have anything to start out with. So, yeah, those were my challenges, just having
Wow.
kids early, and I have 4 kids total now. So, yeah.
And so
But I made the decision to say, you know what?
you gonna duck it and keep it moving, right? You gonna make it happen anyway. So
Yeah,
that
I always, I perseverance is that's my picture is next to that in the dictionary for sure. I'm not gonna
wow,
stop.
that's good. And
Mhm.
I've noticed that even when we've had interactions and conversations, you're like, Jonathan, well, what about this? And there's almost like no stupid question, which is another positive thing I don't want to say as you were, getting started and things of that sort. You always ask the question, and I'm like, okay, well, let me break it down this way. Let me do a Loom video. Let me
Yeah.
send this over to it. Let me help her with this, information. Again, neither one of us at the time of this recording have completed our first deal as yet, but even if one is further along the way, then that's really good too. So talk to me a little bit about why you decided to get in real estate, because you're a real estate agent right now, right? So what brought you to becoming a realtor?
So I believe it was 2000, and I don't remember the year, but I know I was about 21 or 22. I was going to school to be a pharmacist. So I completed my first 2 years, and I was looking forward to being a pharmacist. And just that whole, I don't want to, well, I'm not going to get into the whole job structure thing, but long story short, someone was able to make a decision on whether I move forward in my journey. And I didn't like that. So then I started to understand and research entrepreneurship. I'm like, well, how do the people who own Walmart or the Trumps, or how are they making money? Because it's not by doing this. So that's when I began my research. And then I see, okay, well, they own businesses. Well, they're entrepreneurs. And I read that most of the wealthy people own real estate. So I was like, okay, well, I've always liked big buildings. As a kid, I've always used to walk through IKEA and just all those, just fascinated by things like that. So I said, okay, well, let me, check out real estate. So I attempted to wholesale in 2018. That's when I formed my first LLC and I gave it a go. Didn't work out.
Okay, so then let's
So
okay. So why didn't it work out? What were some of the challenges that you faced there?
I'm gonna put it on myself and say mindset. Definitely
Interesting. All
mindset.
right. Now this is good. What do you mean by mindset? Because
I
I didn't even know this part. This is good. What happened?
Yeah, I mean, I met some people along the way who weren't so, honest, but overall, at that time, I didn't push through. The minute something didn't work, I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna do something else. I'm gonna do this. When I should have just pushed through it and just tried it again, tried it again, tried it again, but I didn't. And then I also had this thing where, are people gonna trust me? Am I trustworthy? This and that. Oh, I'm this, I'm young, I'm this, I'm that, and all these excuses going on in my brain. So then I pushed back, went back to work, and I was like, okay, I need to figure it out. What else can I do? So I said, well, you know what? Let me become a real estate agent, because then maybe they'll trust me, at least talk to me at that point.
Right.
So in February 2021, I got passed my real estate exam and I became a realtor. And then I started to learn how to speak to people, in the real estate industry. I learned how to talk. I built more confidence because, okay, here I have this license. So at least that brings someone's guard down a little bit. And I probably didn't have to get my license, but again, this is my own mindset. This is my own insecurity.
There you go.
As being a woman of color, the world all in my brain and all that. So yeah,
So
that's why it didn't
that's
work
a
me.
okay. This is even better. So I was just having some other DEI conversations. That's diversity, equity, and inclusion conversations the other day, because those things do have a lens. I was talking with someone who is of a minority, but they weren't born and raised in the United States and don't necessarily have that foil, if you will, of being, say, Black in America or some of the other things that have occurred in America. So, you mentioned that those layers kind of affected you. How did you, what were some of the things that you did to kind of help move you past that mindset? I mean, obviously, you just said that your license, having that gave you additional confidence to be able to use what you already had in terms of being able to speak to people. But what were some of the other things that you did, if you will, to help overcome that particular mindset?
Well, one of the main things that helped me was, of course, my husband.
Hmm.
He drilled in my mind, don't worry about that. Push through. There are plenty of people who've done it, just a supportive husband talk, like get out there and handle it. But one of the things that I did myself was I researched a lot of Black women who have been successful in real estate.
Hmm.
And I heard one of them say, and I don't remember her name, please forgive me, but I remember she said, you're not gonna be everybody's cup of tea, and that's okay. So I have that in my mind now. Okay, well, everybody doesn't have to like me.
Right.
Everybody doesn't have to do business with me for me to be successful. So okay, well, let me make sure I'm myself, because I used to tell my husband, and we're being honest, I'm going to be transparent. I used to tell my husband, well, when my husband get on the phone and handles business, well, why you talk like that? You need to, like, you know,
Connect.
put some more, yeah. And
Code
he's like,
switch.
no, yeah, I'm myself. This is how I am. He's very mellow. This is how I am. What people call a white voice. or something like that. I did that often. And I realized like I don't have to do that. I can be myself. And that's what I'm doing now, just being myself, just being Briana, my regular voice, my of course being professional, right?
Of
No
course.
slang and all that. But yeah, that's what I've done. I just threw it all
You,
out.
you know, another person that I just watched on YouTube, and I love her, Tabitha Brown. And Tabitha Brown said the same thing. She said she, she moved out to LA, and, she's a Southern girl. And, she had switched over. Her father was calling, and she was on the phone with her best friend, but her father was calling. So she switched over to talk to her father, and she got to cackling and doing what she did. She slipped right back into, I think she's from Georgia, into that very Southern Georgia, kind of, conversation, because she was talking to her daddy. And I think that's how she kind of pronounced it. And but again, it was that's how she communicated. She got right to it, and then she heard hello, and she hadn't switched over from her best friend, and her best friend was like Tab. So she was just like, oh, and it was like, girl, you real Southern, and so it kind of called her to the carpet. And so she got to the point where she said she was okay with her voice. And if you all know Tabitha Brown, if you don't, you need to go Google her and get her.
Right.
She got seasoning. She's got a line at Target, as you mentioned. She can cook. Hello there. Like this and like so, and then
Right.
Madonna. I
Yeah.
mean, she's given us so many different, things that people like. So like this, oh, that's because of my business. I mean, so many different slang things that people kind of throw in, and everybody knows that it's uniquely Tabitha Brown. And so I applaud you in that you're finding your voice in that. And also, this is very key for anybody else who is in the same space. Having a good partner, having someone as a good spouse who is very supportive of you and understands what's going on is also seemingly key. I mean, we just did another interview with John Cashman, and he said the same thing when they started to save. It took them about 3 years before they did their first property. It was his wife who also had that same mentality that they wanted to save at least 20% of their combined income to move forward. So, that's another positive. So that built into your war chest here and getting started. So, all right, now you're a realtor, right? You've persevered. You've had a hiccup. You started trying to do wholesale. You didn't say I'm going to do it over and over and over again, but now obviously that's not your mindset because you have a supportive spouse. I almost want to ask, is there anything else that you did that kind of helped you with building your mindset? And you can add in if you want, but how did you make the pivot to multifamily? What was the thing that made you want to go there?
Okay. So one of the other things I did, of course, besides research and all that, I read books, a lot of books.
What books were you reading? Just
Self
give me some of the books that you can
self-development.
remember.
Okay, Atomic Habits, Think and Grow Rich, The Power of the Subconscious Mind, um, How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yeah.
What's another one? I know I have a few more, but those are the ones off the top of my head. And
So
yeah,
go ahead.
and that helped my mindset a lot. And it, you know how you know something in your gut, you have the intuition, but when you read it, you like, there it is. So I realized that what for me will be for me. And if I push that energy out there, if I put it out there and I'm consistent, so that's how I'm flowing through life.
With consistent energy. That's good. Um, I know that one of my previous mentors, Sherman Ragland, and I know where he got it from. He got it from, oh gosh, now I want to say Earl Nightingale. I think it was Success Leaves Clues.
Yes.
Success
Earl
Leaves
Nightingale.
Clues.
Yes, and
And
Jim Rohn. That's my
yes,
favorite.
sure. Oh gosh, these are the head. You don't know who they are, go and Google them, right?
You'll change
Especially
your
if,
life.
yeah, if you're in a mindset.
Hmm.
There is one more, and I can't call this. I don't think it's Jim Rohn.
Um,
Uh oh my gosh, it's gonna elude me now. I'm gonna probably put a link to the one of the videos that he
yeah.
has. He has like a 4 hour teaching, and I have watched it like 2 or 3 times, and I've got to go watch it again. Um, but it is probably Jim Rohn. I think that's what it is. Because
It
Jim,
probably be because I have one that's 3 hours.
yes,
3 hours and some
and
change.
and you, you go Google them
Yeah.
and read them. Maybe I'll put a link to some of the things in there. They really will help you with your mindset. They did a lot of training, and a lot of people who are in sales use a lot of their mindset videos and teachings to help them out. And so thank God for this thing called YouTube. A lot of that stuff is preserved for us. We may not have to necessarily go buy the book, or we may not necessarily consume it better in reading. I know for me, throwing on some headphones, going for a walk, podcasts, audiobook, Audible, those things I consume a lot easier that way because I can walk. It's
Hmm.
this thing, you have to know how you're structured. Some people can read a book, and they prefer to highlight and open and smell the pages. And there's this whole, process for them. So figured out what that is. So you did some reading to get into multifamily, and then what was it that made you say, "I'm in multifamily"?
Okay. Now this is the exciting part because I love multifamily. I love commercial properties. So again, on my wholesale journey and then being a realtor, I was focused on residential. And of course, just gaining more knowledge, learning, reading books, just in real estate overall. I realized that almost, I wouldn't say the exact dollar amount that you put down for a home, you could put that towards commercial, but it might be a little close. You could put that towards a commercial property and receive more cash flow. And then it's you can 1031 exchange, you can refinance, just can do to build wealth at a rapid rate. And I fell in love with multifamily, especially retail with triple net leases. I don't want to say too much because then we got this playing. So with
Understood.
leases and just overall, and just as a kid, like I mentioned, I was by myself a lot because I had all brothers. So I was by myself a lot when I got out of school. And where I used to live in Oakland, California, Emeryville was right across the bridge. So I would go there after school and walk around IKEA. I would see all the extended stays and the nice hotels, and I would just walk around. I would just walk around in them and just be fascinated, like, wow, who owns these? How did this person buy this? And so on and so forth. So now that I'm adult, I research these things and I find out, well, no, it's not just one person most of the time. It's about 5 to 10 people, maybe more. And they all put their money together and they buy it and they receive the cash flow. Mind blown.
Gotcha.
I said, okay, this is what I want. This is what I want right here. So that's how I got into commercial and I just began my journey.
Cool. Well, then that's how you began your journey. And so you started with, I'm sure, with some additional education and different things of that sort, right? But I'm pretty sure that you've had some challenges also in getting started in multifamily. What are some of those challenges that you've had? Can you share that with people? So we're not always just showing, oh, it's rainbows and sunshine, if you will, all the time. What are some of the challenges that you faced?
Some of the challenges that I face with multifamily is, again, now I broke the mindset when it came to residential, but now we're getting into commercial. So this is bigger. We have different numbers, different evaluation that I had to learning how to, I would say, underwrite a deal or determine whether it's a good deal or a bad deal. I had to learn how to figure that out. So with the help of the mastermind we were in, where we met initially, I started to join groups and just learn, listen in, um, and just learn. And right now I'm still on that journey of figuring out or battling between, I don't know what to call it. I wouldn't say fear, but the fact that, okay, even though I'm a realtor, am I experienced enough for people to trust me? Am I experienced, even though I haven't had my own deal? Yeah, I've helped people, right, buy land for development and things like that, but I
Right.
don't have my own. So
So
it's like, are they going to trust me? You know?
so let's talk about some of the actual things that you had to put in place and that you are putting in place right
Okay.
now, that you've done that are slam dunks. Hint, hint. I'll let you tell. What are some of the
Oh, now
things
I'm
that
trying
you
to
felt
think.
that you had? What are some of those things you felt that you had to do to put in place, to kind of help you along this journey?
Okay. Well, first and foremost, thanks to you, I had a great foundation to start with. So, so my website. So, I set up my website, mauricecapital.com, and that's where, investors can go check me out, read my bio, get questions answered, and just see my overall um, brand, mauricecapital.com. So I established my website and my CRM and my systems. As of right now, I'm setting up my
Okay, so
what
let's
is it
let's
called?
take a
Newsletter.
step back. So you did
Okay.
your website. You did your website yourself rather than hiring someone else. Why did you decide to do that?
Yes. Well, because it was easy to me. It didn't involve coding. So I didn't
What
have
did
to
you
be a
okay, what did
programmer.
you use? What website did you use?
I use Google. So I purchased my domain and I use Google Sites. And it's really like a drag and drop. You pick your theme and you drag and drop. You put in what you want to put in, and you got to kind of work with it. You might have to YouTube some things, or if you have a friend who knows, call it as, but get it done. I got it done.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And
Google
she
Sites.
called. And she called. No. I'm joking. But another thing too is that you went and invested in yourself and you have this nice glossy photo now. I mean, what was up with that? I mean,
Yeah.
before you were taking some pictures and I was like, this ain't gonna work.
I was like,
This I don't like this.
yeah, that one that was quick. I was at an open house and I was like, let me just take this picture. My husband, he roasted me till we went to bed. He's like, you need to take that down. Cause so I used to wear, now I'm gonna go back a little bit. I never wore makeup, but I wore eyelashes. I
Okay.
always have my eyelashes done. Always. So that one
Okay.
time I said, okay,
I
well, I
think
don't want to go and get them
but
done. Let me just get some strips. You know how the people wear strips, and it was kind of freezing a little bit.
yeah, I think it was freezing. You said you always wore eyelashes, but then you said, no, let me go get some strips.
Yeah. So the difference between, and we're gonna get it. So I used to get the single hair lashes. You lay down and take about an hour or two, and they put the single so it looks more natural, just single hairs.
Oh.
So I used to get that done. And when I used to live in Northern California. So now that I moved to Southern California, I don't have my eyelash lady. So I tried to go to different places, but it just didn't work out. So I said, okay, well, let me try the strips. Because I see people, online, they put on their strips and it looked good. I tried to put them on that day, Jonathan, when I took that picture. That's why I'm saying this. And it did not work.
So
It
much
did
I can
not
say.
work.
So much I can say, but no, yeah, I got you. It didn't work. It didn't work.
Yeah, my husband said no. So, you know,
You
I
got a good
took my
you got a
photos.
good husband. You got a good spouse. You got a good spouse. That's good. So, but you
Yeah.
went and I mean, how easy was it or difficult was it for you to find somebody to do, those headshots for you?
It was easy because my agent I used to work with, we used to be under the same brokerage. She referred me to her. I saw her pictures and she was like, yeah, she's good. So it was a referral and I called her. She was real down to earth. She's so awesome, y'all. Check her out, GiaLarkins.com, GHIA. She's awesome.
That's
So
excellent.
I went and
Now,
got
now
my
Gia needs
headshots
to go
done.
ahead and give us
Hmm.
a advertisement fee. for getting those things done. We're just joking.
I had to shout her out. That's my friend. She's so cool. Yeah.
Wow. So you got your website, you got your thing. What CRM are you using?
At first I was using Agile, but now I'm using HubSpot. And HubSpot is I'm loving HubSpot. I still gotta, it's I would say it's robust. It's a lot, like, but it has everything. That's why. So yeah, I'm using HubSpot currently.
Got it. And so how are you growing your list? And because generally in this business, you have to start talking to people, right? Because most of the, I think, the syndications, right? Syndications are when we're talking about pooling together money where there's a group of people who are managing the property called GPs, right? And a group of people who are silent partners, if you will, who are investing money and getting a return. They're called LPs, right? Generally in those syndications, you have to go and you have to register them with the Securities and Exchange Commission, and they're 506C and 506B are the two most popular, I would think, of the type of syndications. Of the two, the 506B, which they call the friends and family syndication, is this type that you must have a pre-existing substantive relationship with them before you can present them a deal. So that means you're having to have conversations prior to you actually getting your first deal. And for a lot of people, that becomes the thing that can kind of prevent people if you're not a part of a group or mastermind already, which I understand. And again, talk to your attorney, your SEC attorney, could be something, a way of you kind of, hacking that. Because if you're part of the community, you know them already, and that could possibly be the relationship you can use. But I still believe it's important to still contact and talk to people. Is that what you're doing right now with your CRM? Are you calling people and then adding them to the CRM? How is that working for you?
Yeah. So as of right now, it's working out great. It's like I'm slowly crawling, but I'm getting it done. And as far as like how I'm meeting people and how I'm networking, because I did mention that I have kids, right? So it's like, well, how is she getting this done? Well, people that I meet, just as a real estate agent, of course, I meet investors and I do have, contacts there. But I'm also part of the Vista Chamber of Commerce. So there's a lot of business mixers that I attend. So I go there, I network there. They have some great lunch meetings once a week, just overall, just engulfing myself and things like that. And then I meet people in there, and then they might have their own event or things that they invite me to. So it's just a continuance of going out and just meeting people and just net weaving, as we like to call it, and just, having that first touch. And then they ask you what you do. they ask you what you do, and you tell them, oh, well, so on and so forth. Okay, what is it that you do? And well, maybe we could talk about it later. Then we set up a call or a lunch, and that's the second touch. And then I tell them a little bit more about what it is that I do, and then we move forward in that. So we want to make sure we follow all the rules here.
So we're touching people multiple times, and you heard the first touch is, hi, how you doing? We're exchanging business card. Second touch, we're sitting down, we're having a conversation. There's going to be follow-up touches. I'm pretty sure you're going to have a a newsletter and some other things as ways of being able to communicate with these people on a consistent basis, because again, they need to know you, like you, trust you moving forward. And part of that is having these conversations. And so I want to say thank you so much for this interview. I know we've got a couple minutes left and for this particular interview, but I want to be able to give you the opportunity to do two things. Number one, give us the best way that people can get in contact with you since you're in California.
So the best way to contact me is through LinkedIn. That's Briana Maurice on LinkedIn. And then also you can go to mauricecapital.com, and there is a contact form there. You can fill out the form and I will be in touch.
And you'll be in her CRM.
Yeah, you'll be in my CRM touching. I'm going to be touching.
Be touching. That's how you do it. And so what I like to also have is, kind of a little segment. I call it, giving us the boot. For people who are listening to this, is there a bit of advice in you starting your journey, right? You mentioned some of the challenges that you have, how you overcame them. But is there something that you think people should hear, if they're interested in getting involved in multifamily or interested in getting involved in investing or anything that you can give our audience, if you will, to kind of give them that boot to move on to the next level?
Oh, yes, of course. So my biggest advice to give is systems. Set up systems so things are easier. And the CRM is a lifesaver, because sometimes you're not going to always remember to send that email or call someone or just anything. The CRM is going to save you. Don't put the notes in your iPhone and things like that. Have your CRM, and that should be your daily task, to check your CRM and see what it is you have to do for that day, the calls you have to make and all that. And then also, don't be scared. Don't be scared. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it.
See, with
That's my biggest advice.
energy like that around you is the reason why I wanted to link with you and continue to move forward, even in my journey. And I want to say thank you for all the help and support that you provided me in this journey, and looking forward to potentially working with you on some deals in the future, and getting to meet you and your family and interact there. I know that we've already talked about kind of a family union between the three of us. This other third party, we're going to get together and get to meet each other's families and move from there. So listen, thank you so much, Briana Maurice, and we look forward to seeing your name at the top and amongst those women, those minorities, those powerful people who are just doing the daggone thing in multifamily. See you at the top, okay?
Mhm.